What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back the day after our last preseason win. Next week, this time, it's game day. We're playing Parma next week around this time, and this team still needs some help. It needs some fixing, and there's nothing to do because I saw the comments again. Oh, you always find a negative. This team is not ready for the season, and I say that because the squad composition, players in certain positions are not covered. So we're not ready for the season, period. Like it's as simple as that. And that's more to do with the numbers than maybe the quality. Quality as well, but especially the numbers. And we'll talk about that because there's an update on Arthur, finally out of the door. There's an update on Colomani. There are updates on Nico Gonzalez, Jadon Sancho, so a lot to go through in today's video. So before we do that, as always, smash the like button. Let's get to at least 100 likes for this one. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about the busy 2 weeks it should be. And it starts with getting players out. One of them is Arthur. So according to a Brazilian source, he's very, very close to Grêmio. It can be announced at any given time. It's still unclear if it's going to be a loan, if it's going to be a permanent deal. That's still up in the air. But it feels like Arthur is out of the door again for another season. Like if it's a loan, I don't really care. Yeah, you get the wages off the books for maybe a season or so, but like he's back next season, so I'm not really too excited about that. It should be a full-on sale. These players should never come back to the club. We're doing this every single season over and over and over, and it's just a never-ending cycle of bringing these players back, seeing them not being good enough. Actually, Arthur didn't play for obvious reasons, and then next season they're back again. That needs to end. So Arthur closed out of the door. So that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. Next one, who could end up leaving, is Nico Gonzalez. However, latest reports suggest that it's not certain that Atletico Madrid will make that move. And I mean, I don't know how many people watched the game yesterday because I know it was outside of Europe. You needed to pay for the game, and that's well, it's a friendly. Uh, he was bad, Nico Gonzalez. Like he was really, really bad. Like he struggled. Like, again, he can be physical, but he still gets bullied. He loses possession. He trips over the ball. He does something well. He ends up making it worse. I mean, I don't like the position he plays in. I don't like what we are asking him to do because I think that makes him struggle even more. So all in all, that's a player you should be moving out, for his own sake, for the club's sake. And you just need to hope Atletico make that offer. You need to hope Atletico make that offer anytime soon so you can reinvest that money in the squad because that needed. But right now, it's still up in the air. And if Nico Gonzalez ends up staying, it will be a problem because he will play a lot of games this season and he has proven and he has shown absolutely nothing in preseason that he can be useful in any position right now. And that is a massive worry when you have a player who's going to play quite a significant amount of games because, well, he's the next one up and you're not going to play the same players 55 times this season. So that's something you need to keep an eye on. Now, the thing is, let's say we move on Nico Gonzalez. What is the plan? I saw people like O'Reilly, but we do not have cover on the right, on the left. Let's say Yildiz goes down, then what? Because let's say Conceição goes down, and to be honest, I'll keep saying it. Conceição is still not convincing. Not even in preseason. Again, yesterday he does head scratching things where it's like you do so many good things, and then if you follow it up with some things where you're like, why did you cross that? Why do you take a shot? Why didn't you just overlap? Why didn't you make like he does some very strange things with Conceição. So even if he stays, I don't think he can be a full-on starter 55 times. It's not going to happen, but you know what I mean because he's not consistent enough to be that player. Now, if Colomani comes in, that's also an update that Colomani will be available for Parma. The deal will get done basically today, tomorrow. It will be a done deal, etc. And good, I guess, and you can bring him straight into the squad because he knows the team. I keep believing, and I'll keep holding firm to that. If Colomani comes in, Jonathan David and Colomani both starts, and Yildiz starts, and Conceição will sit on the bench. So maybe I'm overthinking it, and let's say Yildiz gets hurt, knock on wood that doesn't happen. He goes back to playing Conceição, and he maybe moves Colomani a bit to the left because that's what he also did during the season a couple of times. Is it ideal? No. That's why I'm like, what is the plan? You move on Nico Gonzalez. Jadon Sancho has still not given a full-on answer to Roma as of now. Some say yes, some say no. Are you going to go back in for Jadon Sancho? Because clearly, as well, quote minus, for example, you're not playing him in an advanced position. Coal Miners played well yesterday. And when he played well, I think everybody was like, okay, that's it. If you want to get his confidence back, that's the position he needs to play. Regista, a bit deep lying, and when he pushes up, even yesterday, he wins the ball back. It's different. You're not asking him to link up play, to create stuff, make certain runs, and maybe that is the basis, but maybe that's the only way to revive coal miners. So again, you cannot really play coal miners in that position. That's where Matt O'Reilly comes in. Is he convincing me as a target? No, not really. I can see why the club wants O'Reilly, but keep in mind last season he didn't play much. We're going off Celtic numbers, and people might say it's Scotland. I'm not one of those people. If you're good, you're good. But I don't think he's that good that he's going to take us to the next level. But I feel like you move on Nico Gonzalez, you move on Douglas Luiz, I think O'Reilly comes in and he will be their link up. But still, on the left, on the right, there's no real cover. And then there's also no cover for Cambiaso. The club is looking for Molina. Atletico don't really want to sell. We have links with Martinez from Girona. That's also a player I've not watched enough. It's right, it's Martinez. I don't even know the name. I'm not going to lie because I've not watched the player. So I cannot say he's good, he's bad. I don't know. What I do know is Cambiaso played extremely well on the ball. It felt like old school Cambiaso, if you can call it old school Cambiaso, and it looks good. But there's no cover for Cambiaso or like quality cover for Cambiaso. So that's also an area that is a bit scary. If you get an injury then or you just rest a player, the quality drops, or actually there is no quality because you're playing players out of position to make up for it. McKennie is out of contract. What are you going to do with McKennie? Are you going to move him out? Are you going to give him a deal? Are you going to let him walk on a free? You have Vlahovic, who I right now still have a feeling he's going to end up leaving for some weird feeling. And if he stays, it's not good for the books. I think the club may accept that they will take a hit because they're pushing for Colomani. But I still think Vlahovic will ends up leaving because Højlund is not convinced about Milan at this moment in time still. So maybe Milan swoop in again, even though he scored, confidence back, but he's not going to play when you have Colomani and Jonathan David. And then at the back, Veiga, he wants to come back. Villarreal, he agreed terms with Villarreal, but not with Chelsea. So people say, oh, Chelsea's going to lower their demands. Chelsea are not going to lower demands at the end of the window. They're not going to do it. They're going to ask their money and they want their money. So maybe the club swoops in for Veiga late, and I think it would solve certain issues when you have, a left playing center back. And we, just quality overall, like Bremer goes out yesterday, you see what happens. Kalulu, another mistake. Kostic, again, I'll keep repeating it. These players cannot play for Juve because that happens when you play certain players. That could have been a league game, 1-0. Bremer had an issue, Gatti had an issue. You bring in Kalulu, Kostic, you can see points gone because of just bad defending. Rushing in, not thinking. That's why these players cannot be at the club, because they're going to play and they're going to cost you games and points throughout the season. So I don't know if the club will move out Savona. I don't know if they're going to move out Rugani. Right now, there are no signals they're going to move out any of these players. So that's why I don't think Veiga is very realistic, purely because we don't have any space in the squad. You need to move out maybe Savona. You maybe need to move out with Rugani, a Kostic. And ideally, you move out some of these players because they're not good enough. But I mean, ideal and realistic, those are two different things at this club right now, due to financial restrictions, etc. The drill. So let's see what's going to happen. We will be live later tonight to discuss the latest and the game. And especially Colt Miners, because that's going to be important going into next week. What is Tudor going to do for the first game against Parma? But for now, enjoy your day, like the video, and I'll see you guys tonight. Ciao.